Cookie's junk!
I like a cookie.
Look at that. Jesus hangs out with hookers.
Yeah, and he says there's hookers in heaven, so he sounds a lot like you.
Okay, so I didn't even eat dinner tonight because gave a fuck, doesn't matter. Mental health, having a good diet, doesn't matter. I don't even have my glasses on right now either. That's also pretty fun. And it is right now 12:19 in the morning that I'm recording this at. So, once again, who cares about sleep schedule? We have to talk about Deadpool 2. I don't even really want to, but, here we are. And it's going to be a fun time. So, Deadpool 3 is happening in the next couple days, which is very, very fun. We had the Deadpool 3 premiere tonight with the whole gang there, and it is getting, I can't see right now, there's still a bit of like an embargo, but we do have one review here that looks pretty promising, so I'm pretty happy for the movie. Overall, I'm technically a little bit excited because I have to be, but I've been waiting for this film for like my entire life. I can't wait for it. Deadpool 3 seemed like a pipe dream for years on end. The fact that we're actually getting it, can't wait for it. So happy. But in preparation for that, we've been going through every single X-Men movie. Is it something that I regret? Absolutely. I shouldn't have done this series at all. But, we did go through a lot of good films. So we went through Logan, went through First Class, went through Days of Future Past as well. So we've had a lot of great episodes. We only have 3 more films left here. We have Deadpool 2, which we're doing right now. And then we also have Dark Phoenix. And then after that, the last film within this Fox universe stuff is going to be the New Mutants movie. That movie came out in 2020. I'd never seen it before, so I'm interested to watch it. Is it good? Is it bad? I'll find out pretty soon. But for today, Deadpool 2, a film that I have not seen in a pretty long time. Happy to revisit it. Happy to revisit it prior to going into Deadpool 3, a film that I don't exactly hate, but don't exactly love either. This film came out in 2018, and just for context, this film is coming out the same year as Infinity War, and also coming out right off the heels of Logan, so, 2 of the greatest films of all time. Well, not all time. 2 of the greatest comic book films for the genre of all time. That's a lot better. So Infinity War, very huge. Logan, also very huge. And also for Marvel, a very massive year. Also have Black Panther this year. So, yeah, it's a very big year for Marvel. Very big year for really film in general. Very stacked year for cinema. And this is definitely one of the biggest years. But how did I feel about it going in with all these other films coming out? How does Deadpool stack up against it? Once again, I was still under 18, so my dad didn't take me to go see this one. But I did see this eventually. Maybe I pirated it or something. And I didn't hate it exactly. Also didn't really love it. And then after I saw it, I kind of forgot about it. Like for weeks and years on end. I just remembered that it even existed like a couple weeks ago when I had to do this episode. So, it's pretty fun. It's a pretty cool film. But, I kind of forgot about it. It's very forgettable. Definitely a step down in quality from the first film, but one that exactly isn't really terrible. Just a step down, just a disappointing one, but not god-awful. As for release and reception, this film raked in $734 million against its budget of $110 million. This movie also ranked number 9 in the worldwide box office for 2018, which is extremely huge. Once again, big films like Infinity War, Black Panther, Incredibles 2. Also had Ant-Man the Wasp, Quantumania. Ant-Man and Wasp. I think that's what it's called. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Sorry, there's like a million different MCU films, so I can't even begin to remember. So yeah, this is a very big year for Marvel, very big year for the MCU stuff. So Deadpool was definitely very elevated by that. And this is also before Disney bought Fox, so they still didn't have the rights to put them inside the film. But there was still like some rumors. Here's how Deadpool's going to show up in Endgame. Here's how the Wolverine will show up in Endgame with the Avengers. Is it clickbait? No, definitely not. Even though they don't have rights to the character, he's definitely still going to be in the movie. Look, it was definitely clickbait. Me as a little kid, I ate it up like all day long. But, today I'm not that stupid, even though I still am. As for Rotten Tomatoes, this film has an 84% critic score and 85% audience score. Once again, very fair, definitely very understandable. This movie isn't exactly terrible, but, is it as good as the first movie? No shot. Definitely no chance. And it's definitely a little bit upsetting just because we went from Deadpool and then we went to Logan. Both those movies are just absolutely incredible, and they're also rated R, made a lot of money, also a lot of critic success. So it was kind of like, how can you make it worse than the first movie? And how can you not only be better? And somehow it's not. It kind of just, I think, goes into the MCU trap of things, of not being good movies, I guess. So this one, definitely love it, but don't. It has potential. Isn't exactly like god-awful like Origins, but not really, really good like Deadpool 2016 or Logan 2017. And I do have a couple of reviews here to read off, one from the Roger Ebert website, and the other one is from Letterboxd. Starting off on the Roger Ebert website, Roger Ebert sadly passed away before this film came out, but we have a review here from Matt Zoller Zeist. I read his reviews a lot at my job when I'm not really supposed to be. He gave this film a 2.5 out of 4 stars, so kind of like 50% there. And he definitely had something very lengthy to write about it. In his full review, I'll link down below in the show notes, but in his full review, I have a little bit of a clip here, and he says, "And there's something to be said about for a film that knows what it is and is sincerely content with being that thing, except for a few individual lines and sight gags, a brilliantly over-the-top action comedy sequence near the midsection, and some characteristically sharp performances. There's not much fondly to recall here." And that's absolutely true. There are some big moments, but comparing to Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2, this movie isn't just really quite in any way on par with that first Deadpool movie, which is very upsetting. You have a bigger budget, definitely. Studio Fox definitely gave them more free reign to add in more characters. Like, we have Juggernaut in this movie, a more comic accurate version of the character as well. So definitely upsetting. You had the opportunity to do something really, really good here, but you kind of fell flat. Over on Letterboxd, we have a 3.5 out of 5 average, and we have a review here from Deodor Anteater. Yeah, sure, 100%. He gave this film a 4 out of 5, and I just want to preface by saying he has Cars 2 as his 4 favorites on Letterboxd, which is absolutely beautiful. If you don't know how Letterboxd works, you can have like 4 favorites on your profile. And for me, I have a lot of film bro, very snobby, French New Wave, Japanese, Korean, really classic cinema. For him, he has Cars 2 in every single slot, which is beautiful. It's what makes film incredible. Subjectivity. That's really, really good. No film is great. No film is bad. Cars 2, though, one of the greatest of all time. But onto his review here. He has a very, very small review here. He says, "He's still such a goofy goober. This one isn't as good as the first one, but I like Brad Pitt being in this movie for like 32 frames. And yeah, this film isn't that good as the first one, but Brad Pitt being in the film, hey, I'll take what I can get here. That's pretty fun." I'll make sure I leave that full review from Matt Soller Zeiss over on the Roger Ebert website down below in the show notes. And also I'll leave Deod Anteater, his full review down in the show notes down below. So you can read the full thing, both those full reviews. If you want to tap into those further, you can. But with all of that egregious prologue get time out of the way, it's time to go and start diving into Deadpool 2, a film that is definitely very upsetting for me, but not exactly god-awful like Origins or even Last Stand. Alright, so I don't have too much to say about this movie. 1, because it's really late and I have work in the morning. Also because 2, there's not a whole lot I have to say. And also, I'm just going to kind of preface the main things here. Going into Deadpool 3, some really important stuff that we can look forward to. And also going into beyond Deadpool 3, we have Avengers that's slated for 2026. Will that happen? Most likely not, but, still, that's where it's slated. It may get pushed back to like 2027 in my opinion, but really, there's some things that needs to be done, some building blocks that they're definitely building upon, and Deadpool 3 right now is going to be the biggest film for any future installments for not only Avengers, but also just Marvel films in general. So, going off here, number 1, obviously Deadpool breaking the third wall with Logan deciding to kill himself in his own fucking movie. That's absolutely just a dick move. So guess what? Deadpool's doing it in this film as well, which is extremely meta. I love it so much. It's very, very refreshing. Seeing him being just fully aware of that Logan died in that movie. So you know what, Logan? Fuck you. I'm doing it here in this one. So yeah, he offs himself in the first 5 minutes of the film. But, knowing Deadpool, he can kind of just come back to life. Doesn't mean a whole lot here. Going into the movie a little bit further, same whimsical fun. There's some fun comedy in here. Not as good as the first one. The first one has just more iconic moments, more iconic scenes in the film that this film tries to really double on, but it just never can. It never has the opportunity to. And really just segueing into the main meat and potatoes for the movie, we have Deadpool having a kid. Real, very, very huge moment for the character. And Will we see this transported into Deadpool 3? I think it's not incredibly far-fetched. As of right now, I didn't even really check, but I'm not sure what the timeline's looking like. I don't know how far the gap is from Deadpool 2 to Deadpool 3. It could be years, it could be months, it could be just days after Deadpool 2. But still, Deadpool having a kid is very huge for the character. When we saw before that he wasn't even sure if he wanted to live this life, now committing to a kid is very huge for the character. That's very heavy character development. So now that's fun. I love having great character development in a movie. Right after that, Vanessa dies, his love interest, which is a very bold decision to make within like the first 30 minutes of the movie. Having the tone set incredibly early. It's very bold and also yet very weird. This death does feel very weird, and obviously we'll see later on that she comes back to life, but still, it's a very bold move, one that could have been done a little bit better. I guess, they kind of do the same thing like with Superman, the first Superman movie way back when, Lois Lane dying, Superman going back in time to save her. Definitely not the smartest thing to do, but one that they still chose to do. So then going into the opening for this movie, the movie is still funny, it's still comedy, but has this very dark and gloomy overtone for the movie that's making it just a very, very depressing film, which, once again, if you heard me talk about Logan a couple days ago, I absolutely love. But, overplaying it up with this Celine Dion song that's the original song for the movie, also having this Deadpool massive James Bond homage opening as well, is a whole lot of fun, yet also very silly and whimsical, which I love incredibly. But still, this movie does also always have great moments. We have Deadpool on the quest to better himself, to get back with Vanessa and die and live with her forever. That's his whole mission with this movie, and his quest for peace is the whole film, which is very good. It's very smart. On paper, this should be the best Deadpool movie, and at least like top 3 X-Men movies so far. But this film heavily falls off in my opinion. I'll touch on that a little bit later. The X-Mansion is always fun. The X-Men cameo for the X-Men Dark Phoenix cast. I just watched that yesterday. Fucking atrociously god-awful movie, but I'll have to talk about it tomorrow, so we're going to go into that a little bit later. But I love that cameo. Does it make sense? No. Will it be addressed in Deadpool 3? I don't think so. I do think there will be a X-Men group featured in Deadpool 3. Will that happen? I think it will. It would be very smart to do so. But until then, we have this cameo. Doesn't make any sense at all, but it's still fun. And this may be after watching the X-Men 94 show, but I do also just love Cable with all my heart. Cable's so much fun. I love that character. Josh Brolin playing him is also an immense amount of fun. And him playing Thanos the same year and then going to play Cable is also very weird, breaking the third wall with Logan and Thanos stuff. It's always a whole lot of fun. But with this film, it works so much. I hope we see him come back later on in future installments for the MCU. Would it be weird? Would it be very funny? Yes. Will it happen? I'm not sure if it will. I'll touch on it later, but Josh Brolin apparently also said that he's signed on for more films of the character. But once again, with Fox being bought by Disney, who knows what got scrapped and cut, so we'll have to see in a few years if that actually happens. I mean, judging by what Marvel did with Quicksilver, not only in Dark Phoenix, but also inside of WandaVision, a character who wasn't even that big of a character in those movies, there's no way that Josh Brolin comes back, in my opinion. It would be fun. It would be incredible. I'm on my knees begging that to happen, but I'm keeping my expectations to a very low minimum. And the Cable fight scene and also the prison fight scene in this movie are both incredible. They're a whole ton of fun. All of them poking fun at the DCEU universe, which, since the movie came out, also all got completely scrapped. And also we have that Winter Soldier reference in there as well, kind of breaking into the MCU a little bit. That's also a whole ton of fun. But maybe perhaps my favorite scene in the entire movie, and also the favorite scene that I have inside of this entire X-Men series so far, is the X-Force introduction and the X-Force death in this movie. That's so Deadpool to happen, that he would try to make his own team, his own little Avengers group with Terry Crews and also a ton of other great actors in there as well. Then they all die in 5 minutes of being on screen. That's incredible. That's so Deadpool. If that didn't happen, this movie may be a little bit worse than it already is. And also, once again, Brad Pitt being on screen for 5 frames is all I can really ask for. I mean, it's incredible that he even signed on to this movie for that one little part, but if I was in his shoes, I'd do it too. Okay, but with all of that yapping and running around here with this movie, we're in the third act, which I know you may be saying, Logan, you didn't really analyze this film. I mean, do you want me to go through every single dick and ball sex reference in this entire movie so you'd be a little bit satisfied with this podcast episode? Because I don't really give a fuck about you, man. I mean, I do. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. I didn't mean to scream at you. But still, I mean, how many dick and balls do I need to go through for you to be a little bit satisfied? Come on. Third act's here. Doesn't matter. We're done fucking around here. Okay? Deadpool been trying to save this kid, really better himself, better his heart, better his character on a journey and a quest for peace, which is absolutely incredible. He does that. He completes his arc. He saves the kid, gives him hope to be a better person, which once again, on paper should be a good Deadpool film. What even happened? Well, Deadpool, he completes his arc. He completes everything. Cable goes back in time to save his life, which is something that I understand makes for, obviously more sequels, more money, more toys, But still, seeing him go back to Vanessa and then her telling him that his journey isn't done yet, him going back to the real world, on paper should be a really good movie, an incredible film. Yet, after all that, he comes back to life. Then what do they do in the credits of the movie? They decide to send him back in time to really just undo this entire film, which will be something that's very integral to Deadpool 3. But for the context of this film, you just made me sit through like 2 hours of this movie, and then the entire film is really just for nothing. And I know what you're going to say, Logan, you're so petty, you're such a bougie guy. But look, I understand I've referenced before that in Superman, the first one back in the 1970s or something like that, they do this too. They do this where Lois Lane dies, he goes back in time, saves her life. That's a different thing entirely. But this one is them literally going back and undoing the entire character arc for the character and bring Vanessa back to life is a big no-no in my opinion. You shouldn't really do that and sell your audience this hard with this, whole entire plot and everything, this whole arc, and then undoing everything feels like I'm being betrayed, but not in a good way. That's not subverting audiences. That's completely betraying your audience and betraying their trust. And I also know and understand wholeheartedly that yes, this is Deadpool. This is a Deadpool film, but God forbid that he can have a little bit of character development, a little bit of a good movie, a little bit of a good character story. That was in Deadpool 1, and they had Deadpool 1 be more of a character story and also a little bit more of comedy and action in there as well. But the main focus point, the main goal, priority number one was always to have a good character with a good arc. So this film does that, then decides to completely turn its back on it and completely throw it up in flames, which is, in my opinion, you could say subverting the audience. You could say it's very bold and a very fun and fresh take, but one that I'm not really a fan of. But that being said, whatever. It's just a film. It's Deadpool. He's fun. He does this like all the time. Breaks the third wall, breaks the entire movie. It's just Deadpool. That's his whole shtick. And also, if Deadpool doesn't do this, would we still have Deadpool 3? Probably, but would it make sense? Probably not. I think that in Deadpool 3, we don't really know too much about it yet, but we also don't know exactly who exactly broke the multiverse in this MCU era that we're in right now. We know that the multiverse collapsing in on itself, doing a bunch of weird stuff. Henceforth, we're going to have a multiverse kind of Secret Wars level movie. So Deadpool being able to come in here and merge everything together, break the third wall, bring in everyone here, all the X-Men into the MCU. It makes sense for it to be him. I don't think that Deadpool exactly broke the X-Men universe, but they're kind of just using Deadpool to bring everything together, make a little bit more sense. Also, it's Deadpool. He's going to do some fun breaking the third wall, destroying this whole entire universe as well. So this movie might be the straw that broke the camel's back with the MCU, the whole multiverse shit they have going on. I mean, I'm not going to go through the entire timeline of who broke the MCU. That's a whole thing in and of itself. But we got to think, we had No Way Home. We had Loki season 1 and 2. That was very big with the multiverse breaking. We had WandaVision, the Multiverse of Madness. Then we also had Ant-Man, Quantumania, a bad film, by the way. Then also we had the Marvels as well. And then I think we maybe had like a couple shows in there too that also kind of broke the multiverse. But we got to think, all these projects happening at once, everyone kind of tampering with the multiverse stuff. This movie is going to be the thing that really just elevates everything to a new level. And after this movie, we're going to be going into kind of a Avengers prep mode for the MCU. Like we're going to have Captain America New Order, him building the new Avengers. Then we're going to also be going into the Thunderbolts and also the Fantastic Four. We don't know much about those right now, but that's going to be pretty big as well. Also Daredevil, Born Again, introducing a new Daredevil to the universe, and a ton of other cool stuff coming out as well, like Spider-Man 4. So we're going into kind of like how Avengers Infinity War had that like pre-Infinity War era of, we had Thor Ragnarok, Spider-Man Homecoming, and Black Panther, all just like Avengers prep movies. That's the kind of like thing we're going to right now with the MCU, I think. It's been kind of slow right now, but Deadpool and Wolverine, also with it being the only MCU film this year, is going to have to propel this entire universe back again. It's kind of died. It's a car battery that kind of died. Deadpool and Wolverine going to have to jumpstart this whole thing once again. But hey, that's just my whole thing of Deadpool 2, and it's not really a good movie, but still, we're going to be segueing into Deadpool 3, also segueing into a new era for the MCU, so I'm all here for it, all very excited for it. Am I seeing it this Friday? Yes. I don't know what to expect about it right now. I think it's going to be a pretty big movie, but all the cameos and stuff I'm hearing about right now, all the rumors, I'm very hyped for it. But that's the entire review. Review's over. Now, time to go into superlatives. What is that exactly? Fun facts, fun awards, the MVP as well, going to this movie, and all that cool stuff. So we're going to go ahead and dive into it right now. And if you want to leave. But if you want to stay, you can stay and have a little bit more fun.
You are a blowfish.
What? Lady, whatever you're selling, I ain't buying, yo.
Well, my name is Skylar White, yo.
Can I get a spot? Okay.
Okay, so starting us off with Busting the Backlot, what is the best scene in the entire movie? I already said it before, but I'll say it again. It's the X-Force death sequence. That's just bar for bar, hands down the best scene in the entire film. Absolutely hilarious. My personal favorite quote in the entire movie comes from Deadpool earlier on in the movie, which he says, "Donde es biblioteca," which literally translates to, "I don't bargain, motherfucker." There's a lot of great lines of dialogue in this entire movie. I'll admit, pretty mid, but still very funny. But that's the best quote by far. Do I know Spanish? No, but I wish I did. One small change to the entire movie is no time travel. And maybe if you're going to do time travel, don't reset the entire arc for this movie. I know it's a lot of fun. It's Deadpool is going to break a lot of rules. Also, may or may not mean that, Deadpool 3 actually happens. But still, no time travel, please. It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. Also kind of ruins the film. And as for Double Trouble, what's a really good double feature for this movie? In my opinion, go into Origins Wolverine and then dive into Deadpool 2. You already know why, for that credit scene of him killing the Origins version of himself. That's a whole lot of fun. Kind of breaks the third wall. Doesn't make a lot of sense. But it works. It's funny. And as for if this film was a song, what would it be? And if Deadpool 2 was a song, it would definitely be Heaven is a Place on Earth, which comes to us from the great, the wonderful Belinda Carlisle, who, I don't know her that much, but the song absolutely slaps. Also, been stuck in my head for like weeks and months on end. So that's exactly why she's in here. And it's a pretty good song. So listen to it. Stepping forth into Bustin' the Backlot, you may be asking yourself, what the fuck is Bustin' the Backlot? It is the most fun you'll have in the entire episode. I mean, that's really Bustin' the Backlot. I mean, you're going to have a whole lot of fun here, but you may be asking, how the fuck can I benefit from this bullshit Bustin' the Backlot? Well, let me tell you, and you're going to be all ears for this one. Let's say you're on like a date with a girl, and she may be trying to figure out if you're, a good contender for her. Pull out some film fun facts. That's what you got to do. Film fun facts. They're going to save your entire career. They're going to save your date. They're going to get you a new job, get you that car loan, that house loan. They're going to get you everything you need. So film fun facts, you need it for life. That's what I have for you. I'm really saving your life and giving you this free knowledge for your day-to-day life. So, Bustin' the Backlot, the very first one here. At around 23 minutes, the footage of the X-Men closing the door was shot on the set of X-Men Dark Phoenix in 2019 and sent over to the Deadpool 2 crew. I just watched X-Men Dark Phoenix like yesterday. I think I said it before. That movie is actually terrible. I am very sad by how bad it is, and I'm sad by how good it could have been. That's all I have to say about Dark Phoenix. I'll talk about it tomorrow, but for right now, geez, that movie's terrible. The second fun fact. Ryan Reynolds was at a dinner party with Matt Damon, pitched him the Toilet Paper Manifesto, and asked Damon if he wanted to play that part. Damon thought it was hilarious and agreed to do the cameo. I did not even know that Matt Damon was in this movie until I saw that little fun fact. I mean, he's so unrecognizable in that role that I really just flew over my head. First time I watched it, second time, third time, and even this time, I still didn't believe it's him, but apparently it is. And the last fun fact that I have for you today, Josh Brolin signed a 4-film deal to play Cable and described his appearance here as just the introduction for the character with 3 movies to reveal more. So, that obviously is probably not going to happen. I hope it does. Cable is a character that maybe could kind of bend the rules like Deadpool a little bit, but most likely he can't. I think that it is very interesting that he even signed that 4-film deal. Maybe it's not even real, fun fact, but if it is, a second, I guess, big question that I have for you is Josh Brolin really a person that you think should come back and enroll for Cable? I think he should. I mean, I think it works for that character, and Josh Brolin's also just an incredible actor, but he may be kind of busy with Doom Messiah right now, so, whatever. But still, sorry, moving on here. For the final award of the night goes to the MVP. The MVP, no anticipation needed. It's Ryan Reynolds. He's the GOAT. He's the MVP. The movie's kind of mid, but, he's still the GOAT here. I mean, this character just works so well. If anyone else in the world's playing Deadpool and it's not Ryan Reynolds, this film is absolute garbage. He's like the only redeemed quality for this movie. I said it before in our review for 2016. His just commitment to this character and persistence with it is just everything. This movie and this series just wouldn't be happening if he didn't really have the commitment for it. And I'm here to say I love him so much. Can't wait to see Deadpool 3. It may change cinema, it may not. But regardless of that, my final score for this film is a C. Not a C+, not a C-, just a C. A C isn't a bad score, but still, considering the last one was like a B, I'm really upset by this one. Hopefully we'll get better here with Deadpool 3. And that's actually my question for you. For our daily episode question, I have, will Deadpool and Wolverine be the best Deadpool film? I don't think so. This may be just me nostalgia, maybe me being a negative Nancy and real, pain in the fucking ass, but I don't see Deadpool 3 being better than Deadpool 1. I may be like one of the dumbest guys on earth after I watch this movie, listen back to this and say, oh my gosh, I was so wrong. I hope I am. But for as of right now, this very second at 12:54 in the morning, there's no way Deadpool 3 is better than Deadpool 2 or 1. Well, that's all I have for you. A lot of egregious yap time about Deadpool 2. Let me know what you thought about this film, and let me know if you're going to see Deadpool 3 in theaters. I am. You may see me at theaters in IMAX. If you see me in an IMAX theater, like crying my eyes out, I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm just very emotionally unstable right now and very emotionally just shattered by this character in these movies. As soon as I see Wolverine on screen in that yellow suit and him in general on screen again as the role of Wolverine, I might just cry my eyes out, and I'm not really going to be too mad at it. But still, until next time, we're going to be talking about X-Men The Dark Phoenix, a bad movie. And then after that, we're going to be going into New Mutants from 2020. So we have 2 more films to go through with this series. We're almost done. But until next time, stay swagged out, stay cool, watch Deadpool 3 on the biggest screen you can, even though IMAX may not even be the best screen to see it on. See it in IMAX. IMAX is the ultimate cinematic experience. But until then, stay swagged out, stay cool, watch more movies. And until then, I'm Real Slogan, and I'll see you boys in the movies.